Hello, welcome to the PHP portion of the server/backend tutorial. So as I stated in the last tutorial, the PHP portion is the scripting portion. It's a scripting language which we will use as a middleman between the MySQL server and mobile applications. So PHP code is typically located in the web root directory. The file will have the extension .php and will be served by the web host. Inside file, both HTML and PHP can be used. However, PHP code must be between the enclosing tags, as you see here. So PHP has some predefined variables available that we can access in all scopes. These two we will be using are _get is get, as well as post. So these help us move the parameters to and from our code to the outside. PHP and databases, database connections with MySQL as a driver. Here, so let's write some code out first. So we'll do PHP. So we'll start it with our try block, and then I'll explain this as I go along. I'll call it E, actually. Okay, so this here, the try and catch blocks are the structured pairs that we use to test code, where it's kind of risky, or it might create an error, or it might fail. So the try block, pretty much any sketchy type code, place it inside of these try blocks, and the catch block is where you're going to have the solution to your expected error. So the try and catch blocks that you're seeing here, this is for testing for a successful connection to the server. That could very well fail. So let's say your web host is external and you would like to substitute the local host with the IP address of that external URL, database name with this database name, and then root, that's the user, and password is the password. Here, I just left it blank because in the last tutorial, that was our password for assuming that this is on a new user's account. So we can also go over prepare statements. So prepare statements false guard user input to prevent SQL injection, which is a type of attack where people can actually end up seeing data that they're not really supposed to have access to, just due to how PHP handles code, which is kind of poor, where if it sees that, and the way PHP and MySQL are talking to each other, basically if it sees a command, it will run it, even if it's just an input given into the system. So we can do something like the following. And the way to avoid this is using prepared statements. Select name from that movie is a student. Say where student ID. Assume we have a student ID is equal to student ID. Say student ID. This is where we would place the actual variable. And we'll go ahead and execute that. And so this is the way that we're treating it kind of very carefully from PHP with the database, and basically saying, don't read this, whatever it is, just take it and put it into this prepared statement, and then run it on the server, and kind of don't do anything dangerous like read it. I'm actually missing some little question marks. And this should be okay. And then I guess I'll just go through. I'll make some sample code here. You can just kind of follow along. This code is basically just setting up a connection to a server. We're going to have our try statements. We're going to try to run a few commands. We'll catch those commands if they fail, and just kind of print if we've successfully connected or if we haven't, or stuff like that. So this is a very basic and common file that you would write in PHP. So host, create a variable for the username, which is root in our case. Create another variable for the password. Have this set to nothing. We'll have the database name, called it, I think it's student. Okay, we'll do SN equal to MySQL host should be a colon. Okay, is equal to our variable, that's our host, dot semicolon, we'll do db name equal, and then the db name that we are supplying. Alright, cool. Let's make a variable called year. And we'll use our global variable we were talking about in the beginning of the tutorial. Year. Awesome. And then we'll try do new. We'll use dsn, the username, and password. Alright, and then we need to set the PDO error mode to exception. So to do that, we set attribute PDO : PDO : Alright. Oh, and by the way, if you want to have output statements, it would be echo. So it would be like echo, this is a test of output, and that will be echoed out. Let's create an SQL statement that we would like to accomplish. So we'll say select all from student where stu ID is equal to 0000. Or actually, let's not do that. Let's do let's leave it open for input, which the question mark will allow us to do. Okay. Statement to PDO. Oops. PDO. So again, we're using prepared statements to prevent from people trying to access things that they should not. We'll execute our variable, which is the input, and then fetch fetch that object. Now we need to calculate and convert to JSON. Oops, put that back there. We need to calculate and convert to JSON, so we'll write convert object name equal posts name. Let's go ahead and echo JSON underscore encode. Oops, encode converted object. So that would output. And then that's all we need for our try. Let's put catch. PDO exception E. And what we'll do is we'll just echo connection failed. Let's output our error. Get message. Okay, so here's our just simple code that's basically testing connection to a server and then trying to run a simple output using the tools that we talked about before, which would prevent the SQL injection. Sorry, a few typos there. If you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. But this pretty much covers the back end portion of the tutorials. Thank you.